My name is DrissTemsamani. I work for Citigroup, Latin America, Mexico, and the Caribbean. I've spent 16 years at Citi and 26 in total in the United States. Moved when I was 18, and I have gotten called to join this delegation, and for two reasons. One is my experience in emerging markets. As I said, I've spent 16 years working in the Latin America region, which is a similar region to the African economy and the Asian economy, what we call emerging markets, as well as my involvement with the Moroccan American community in the United States. Back in 2008, I was elected to be president of the Moroccan American Coalition. It's a coalition of all Moroccan associations in the United States. And the goal of the Moroccan American Coalition is to foster both social and economic development of Morocco, as well as some of the neighboring countries. So this is a unique opportunity for me to be here because it opens my view of what is the Maghreb in general, and how can Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Mauritania eventually open up the cross-border trade, which should stimulate the economy as well as create the opportunities, and that it's very much aligned with the NAPEO charter. Well, first we should look at the economy in general. The economy is no longer a local economy, it is a global economy. Countries such as Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia are in the process of diversifying their GDP to have more industry base as well as foreign direct investment. To do this, they are diversifying away from the traditional GDP sources such as agriculture, oil and gas in the case of Algeria, tourism in the case of Tunisia. So to do that, they have to attract foreign direct investment. In general, the strength of an economy in a country has to do with the strength of its small, medium business. The small, medium businesses are really a conglomerate of what the entrepreneur spirit is all about. These businesses are born most of the times as small businesses, and they expand to become medium-sized companies. What we also see is that these medium-sized companies eventually become regional. Some of them today are becoming global. We call them the emerging market champions. So the aspiration of any entrepreneur is one day to become a global company, a regional and a global company. It's part of the DNA of an entrepreneur. And that's what we see. We see that in emerging markets today, and we see it in the countries we are visiting. We've seen it in Morocco with some great innovation, ideas that not only will revolutionize the local market, but the regional and the global market. The applicability of some of these innovations that we've seen, these startups, is very much real for other developed markets, be it in Europe, the United States, and some countries in Latin America. So we're here to share the view and the experience that we have for these global economies, regional economies, with these local entrepreneurs, so that they can see the opportunity of their business as a larger one that will attract more investment as well as minimize the risk of their business model. The common denominator between all the entrepreneurs that we've met with is passion. There's a lot of passion to change the world. It could be as a result of the communication and the internet and the social media. Entrepreneurs in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia in general are no longer confined to their local market and the circles, the small circles that they traditionally have lived inside. They now are networking globally with other entrepreneurs. They're reading about other entrepreneurs. They're getting inspired from other business models from different countries. So in many ways what we have seen is an improvement and an enhancement on existing models that exist in Europe and North America. There are a customized version of the local market where they live and where they have a need and where they see client potential. where they see business potential. So we've seen a lot of passion, we've seen a lot of drive, and personally what I've seen is this mentality of the sky is the limit. There is a lot of aspiration to replicate the success of a Facebook-like business venture, or a startup company as it was in its first days, like Apple. The spirit of we can do it and we can achieve excellence is very much alive in the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs that we've met with. And that's what I've seen across. There was no much difference between entrepreneurs in Morocco and entrepreneurs in Algeria, and we're now meeting with entrepreneurs in Tunisia. If anything, what we've seen is a working around the challenges that they have in their local markets. So they don't only innovate in their business models, but they work around the challenges that they face, and that even enhances the models and the businesses that they are pitching to us, such as in the case of Algeria and the young entrepreneur that won the award and is going to the United States to Tech Town. That solution is clearly not only in innovation in online payments, but is working around the lack of a payment system in the local market and providing a solution which within itself was very innovative. And that's why we selected that business model. Well, first of all, for any entrepreneur, the golden rule should be not to give up. These are young entrepreneurs, they have dreams, they're very fragile. The first time they go out to pitch their business model, to talk to investors, to do roadshows, they have a very thin skin. And so my advice has been not to give up to the first no. As a matter of fact, my advice has been not to give up to the 100th or 1000th no, to keep trying until one of the doors gets open. An example of that is the second winner of the Algerian entrepreneur youth was a person I met with, a 23-year-old entrepreneur who was told no in the first pitch that he made for a recyclable paper-based business proposition to make sheetrocks. And he was told no because of the size of the investment that he required. When he presented to me, his business model had taken out the innovation that made the model attractive to start with. And when I asked him, he said that he was told that the project was too expensive, so he had to take that piece out, which made the project not attractive after he did so. So my advice was for him to not do that because he was told no, and to keep insisting until he finds the right investor. As a matter of fact, that same person did not sleep the entire night, came back the next morning, presented to us not only the full business model, but he did it in a way that the entire team was so impressed that he was selected, and he came second to the person that won the contest. And this was the person that pretty much had given up on the idea and had actually redesigned entirely the solution. So it tells you a lot about these entrepreneurs and how fragile they are, how sensitive they are to coaching, to mentoring, and to the opportunity. So insisting is a key rule that should be taken by this entrepreneur, and it should be something that they should all follow. Not to give up on their ideas. It's very important. My advice is instead, when you encounter a young entrepreneur from the North African region, because they tend to have very similar way of thinking and they have very similar cultures, is not to treat them with the hard hand, iron fist that traditionally investors deal with entrepreneurs in the United States and in the developed markets. I would say these are the first generation of entrepreneurs in this part of the world. They're not second, third, and fourth generations as they could be in the United States and in Europe. So handheld in with, I would say, white gloves, these entrepreneurs, and telling them no in a way that is not to say that their models are not working, but that they have to go and relook at the business models, perhaps tweak them, and send them with the message that they should never give up on their idea. As a matter of fact, even if an investor sees that their idea is not going to work, to allow them to fail, because that's a very cost-effective way of getting trained and learning. So perhaps if they start the first business and fail, the second business and fail, and the third business and fail, the fourth one will be a very solid model that will succeed. When I was told to join this delegation, first I was very excited, because this was the first time for me that I was going to be visiting countries like Algeria, Tunisia. I have never been to Algeria, I've never been to Tunisia. So the opportunity for me to visit the Maghreb was very attractive. I was hungry for the knowledge. I wanted to know what's going on in this part of the region. I wanted to also identify opportunities of how the Maghreb can be more interconnected. And so that was pretty exciting. Now, first, so then I had to learn about NAPEO, and you know, beside being invited, and I heard a lot of acronyms. There was the PNB, and there was the NAPEO, and was the State Department. Then there were the local boards. So I did my own research, and I started reading about the organization and the role of the Aspen Institute. And the more I learned and the more I read about it, the more excited I got, because this was exactly what was lacking in the strategy with the Middle East and North Africa. Traditionally, the United States has been seen as a country that was involved militarily with the Middle East and North Africa, and it was also involved with aid. Most of that did not make an impact on the perception of the Arabs in general and the North Africans on the value that the United States was offering to this part of the region. Now, when you start to focus on social and economic development from the ground up, you start to make a difference. And the strategy became complete when I read about the role of NAPEO and the Aspen Institute and the State Department. And finally, what I see is a hands-in-hand type of relationship between the U.S. government and the local chapters of NAPEO, the Aspen Institute in general, that will allow a grassroots operation to be born from the ground with an understanding of the culture, the business environment, and the mentoring and the support that will come in from the United States through the Aspen Institute, through NAPEO, and through the State Department.